So with your shot process, pre-shot routine, if you're shooting a game, what's like your innate routine that you would go through?
Setting up shot process in my head. Like, this is the way you do it every time. This is the way you're successful. Don't forget, because I think oftentimes I forget. I mean, I'll go up there and I'll just start shooting my bow again and say, no, that's not the way you shoot this bow.
The drop of the arrow at that distance, how relevant is that at 40?
If I don't have it there, my shot doesn't hit right. If I have it there, I could almost always be inside out if I'm staring at the middle and I have a little bit of a bend.
You just kind of have to do it enough to see, okay, how can I shorten a step or remove a step without it actually affecting my technique and my scores? Most people, if they mess up at Vegas or at a tournament, they would think it's an execution problem. It's usually they weren't fully in their back or something didn't have the right tension alignment in the first place. And then mentally they're like, it's good enough. And then they commit to something that's not good enough.
In terms of, do I go out, after I've got it set up the way that I have it set up, and then go out there and group tune some of the arrows at a little bit longer distances, like
the rest clicks too, so that's nice.
Yeah. So was it Pietro said to do it out to 40 or 50 yards with your aluminum arrows, and so I'm like, seems like a lot, and
you can try it. I just think the drop.
Right.
The drop of the arrow at that distance, how relevant is that at 40?
Right. Because it's not. I think
you're going to raise your rest. I think you're going to raise, like, as if you were just shooting a standard blade, you'd raise your rest too high because it would have such a low kick.
Yeah.
Like a low impact. And then it's like, well, if you go to 20, that same bear shaft would be a high bear shaft.
Right.
Like dynamically, how is the bear shaft shifting? It could be doing that porpoise motion.
Yeah.
So
it kind of does.
It's like a photograph at each distance. Yeah. So one thing to keep in mind that I haven't. Yeah. One thing I haven't tested is, so let's just say you want to click your rest down 3 clicks or up 3 clicks. Well, you have a cord, and if you don't loosen the cord tension gets tighter when you go up and looser when you go down. So like you need a way to like manage the drop as you're moving the rest position. So you need to have the same drop time regardless of where the rest is.
Right.
For it to be an effective test. Because like you might be group tuning, thinking you're group tuning the rest height, but you're really group tuning the drop timing and the rest height at the same time.
Yeah.
Two competing variables. Right. Yeah. So, because you're going to move it up and then it's going to drop faster, which does the opposite of moving it up in the first place.
Right. And if I'm group tuning it, what am I really getting out of it at that yardage?
Well,
do I really know?
It's really hard to tell. Like, it can be at times. What I would do is I would just collect the data and let the data tell you. Instead of trying to group tune, just make the adjustment, shoot a game, and then make another adjustment, and then just let the score and then your feelings about, what kind of atom you were that day blend in. And you will be able to notice the difference. For me, what I've noticed basically of group tuning, as far as rest height is concerned, if I'm shooting perfect height, most of the time I get a lot of high and left misses if I shoot like a bullet hole. And I found if I have it to where it is a high left tear, where it's a low right impact, if I pull through and really push this arm left and kind of up sometimes, having that high left kick with a low right impact seems like it groups better that way. I can like push into the bow more and the arrow won't want to kick high or left sometimes. So I've talked to some people about this. You've heard Bodie talk about it just on a podcast level.
He said that, he told me that at Coleman, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it's like you can push more into the bow without it giving you flyers. He said
and the high left tear thing.
Yeah, everyone says that, and most people don't know why. For me, I have found that if I don't do a high left tear, like a slight high left tear, and the bear shaft is with an aluminum perfect, like I will miss opposite of the direction of a high left tear. I am left a lot. Like if you load it in to where it's already wanting to go low right innately, then you can get away with more of a left push, I think. Or like, you can be a little bit more aggressive on that bow arm and just trust it more instead of kind of teeter tottering, the bow arm. So yeah, I would just test it out and see. For me, my bear shaft is low right and liner with the 27 to start. Like,
so you're not a high left guy. You don't settle into a high left tear.
When I say low right, I'm referring to the bear shaft. So
okay, all right.
It's a high left tear, but
gotcha. That makes sense.
A high left tear can mean a lot of things. It can mean, is it a low right bear shaft 10, 9, 8, 7, or a 6? Those are all high left tears. How do you measure how high left it is? So for me, it's slightly high left, enough to still hit the 10 or barely miss it in the 9. Just start.
Is that based off of a bear shaft or off a fletched arrow?
Shooting bow. So if the fletched arrow is sighted in, my bear shaft will hit low right 10, and it'll have a decisive kick. Like it won't be like you'll shoot it several times and it'll hit the same hole the bear shaft will. I've also noticed this too. If you just shoot groups with your bear shafts, whichever tune shoots the bear shaft impact the most consistent, it's probably going to shoot better. So if you have your bear shaft perfectly tuned where it goes straight, you can push that bear shaft very easily left and right, up and down.
Yeah.
But if you load in that low right, the impact point, if you sighted it in to hit the middle, you probably shoot a cleaner Vegas game. You could even probably shoot like a 300 with bear shafts. I could.
Yeah.
I don't think I could shoot a clean bear shaft 300. I could shoot a 300 with a perfect bear shaft, I think, but like I'd miss a lot of X's.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's the testing that I'll have to do. Like, and Gillingham told me to do this. He said, if you want to know how your tune best shoots, just shoot bear shafts and see which bear shaft impact groups the best. Just shoot your bear shafts, no clutchings. But at the same time, depending on the arrow, you might want to put some tape on the back, just because like your FOC, you're removing a lot of weight and stiffness off the back of the arrow. So, yeah,
that's good.
So that's the limit of the group tuning I've done with the 27 indoors. So far, but how high left of a tear or how low right of a bear shaft impact, that's something you'd have to play with and really take the time to test. For you, the 80-20 rule would be to just set it up as no worse than in the 9, like in the middle of the 9, low right, 45-degree angle. You should be fine.
I hear what you're saying. I understand it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And do you go outside at all and go past 20 yards when you're setting up your indoor bow?
Not really, because the arrow is so slow.
I just don't understand. Yeah, I just don't understand the futility behind it.
Pietro is a very smart human being, so it begs the question for me. Why not try it?
Yeah,
and see. I would try it. I might try it myself and see. Yeah. I just don't know how that tune's going to be. I don't want you to lose the bear shaft.
Right.
27s are very unforgiving past 20 yards. Like, very bad.
Yeah, very bad.
Yeah, just innately a stiff arrow. Okay.
So that was my only big question was just, as I started back over again and started doing it, I set everything up the same way. I'm shooting the same draw weight, same holding weight. I mean, everything's basically the same thing. I just need to make sure that my draw length is set up with and I have my D loop down now, like exactly something I never really ever paid attention to. And now I've got it down exactly to where I want my D loop length to be. I'm using the calipers. So I can go back and repeat this bow and set a whole nother bow up exactly the same way.
Exactly. Perfect. So, and the funny caveat about that is, depending on the bow and the manufacturer, sometimes bows do not jive. But I haven't had the issue with the Matthews. Like, if you get two titles, they are identical. They weigh exactly the same. One time it was a new paint scheme Hoyt did on the Invictus. I got a green Invicta and I had a blue one at the time. And the green one weighed half a pound more barrel.
That's weird.
It sounds crazy, but I'm using a luggage scale, half a pound. So completely different bow. But I wanted to shoot it because it was the new bow. It's like, right, no one has this color yet, type thing. But yeah. So let's go ahead and just going through process stuff. So with your shot process, so pre-shot routine, if you're shooting a game, what's like your innate routine that you would go through? If you had one focus, like, what would that be?
My focus would be just I guess it's just making sure that my shot I'm just thinking about shot process. Like I'm walking up, I'm setting my feet up and I'm setting up shot process in my head. Like, this is the way you do it every time. This is the way you're successful. Don't forget, because I think oftentimes I forget. I'll go up there and I'll just start shooting my bow again and say, no, that's not the way you shoot this bow. This is the way you're successful. So stick with it. And the one thing you told me is always make sure, what is that hold that you like to hold the very most? What is that spot? And that's how I do it. So I think about that, and then I'm thinking about, as I'm walking up to it, I'm going and doing my thing. And if I'm walking back from even picking up arrows, and coming back to the line, is thinking about what my pin float looks like as I'm at full draw. How does the shot feel, and to not let up. So there's a lot of things that go into my brain, but the big thing is my shot routine.
Okay, so let's just say you get on the line. You load your arrow, you set up everything, you look at the target. At that moment, when you're set up and you're looking at the target, what's going on in your head?
I'm thinking about my grip, and I'm thinking about my hands, actually, which is kind of weird. But I'm thinking about where my hands are on my bow. So the arrow's loaded. I've looked at my target. I know where which target I'm shooting at. And then I have my grip specific, grip on where I want it on my bow, and I'm always kind of thinking about that. And then where my hands are on my release before I start.
Okay. What criteria allows you to pick up the bow off your leg and start the shot? Is it just, my grip, my hands feel right?
Good, yeah. Yeah, it's my hands. Do my hands feel all right? And do I feel like I'm relaxed? And have I pictured in my shoulders? Head? Yeah, and have I pictured in my head what my pin float's going to be?
That's a great way to look at it. For indoors, especially, getting into that rhythm where you do have that pause. Obviously checking your hands. Yes, I do that. Very much a feel thing. You just feel the spot, because under pressure, you don't want to have to think about it. You just want to be like, got it. But setting up your mind for success on what do I want this pin float to look like, but also how you get to that pin float. So for you to get to your ideal pin float, what things have to happen during the actual shot? And these are things that you can experiment with, but I'm asking, what things have to happen?
I have to be able to come up and anchor exactly the same spot and be able to bring my if I am relaxed at all on the shot, I can't be completely relaxed. I can be relaxed in my front arm, my bow arm. I can be relaxed in my forearm,
or just the tension gets stored.
But all my stuff is in my back. If I don't have it there, my shot doesn't hit right. If I have it there, I could almost always be inside out if I'm staring at the middle, and I have a little bit of a bend. little bit of a bend, because it allows it allows it to release.
Exactly. Yeah. So your release technique is set up where the shot won't break unless you're in your back first, and then keep maintaining it through the break.
Right.
Okay. That's good. So one thing that you can do, and I've been in the same situation, and I am in the same situation. With my shot process, I think about settling, releasing tension, making sure I'm in my back, and then starting my execution. Something I'm working on right now is making that a little bit more efficient, but you just kind of have to do it enough to see, okay, how can I shorten a step or remove a step without it actually affecting my technique and my scores. So like sometimes you can shoot and settle a certain way enough to where it kind of becomes a habit. So if it's not, then you have to really consciously think about it. So, but yeah, so in the pre-shot phase, when you're looking at the target, one thing that you can do is literally cue your back. Like you see how I just did what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Cue your back and kind of like feel it in a way, and then just think about the pin float a little bit, and then from there, just relax again, and then
that's a good
go
idea.
through that shot.
That's a nice idea.
I've done that where you literally think and rehearse the first three seconds of commitment to the shot, to the actual execution, and putting the back in play, like just thinking, like you saw a little twitch. I'm just like looking at this thing and like, okay, cool, pick up the bow. I want you to try that and make that be like your focus before you actually take the bow off your leg every shot for a game, and see if you like that focus. See if it helps you or not. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
It kind of slows
I do a lot better.
Slows you down.
It would. I guess that's another thing too, is I feel like I shoot a little bit too quickly when I'm by myself here, as opposed to, how we do it when we're in Vegas or any indoor tournament. There's kind of a lull in between. I'm not sure if I should kind of put that lull in there a little bit, but I just come back and shoot my arrows and go. I think I have to, or I'm going to screw it up when I get to Vegas.
You must practice it that way. You should always practice that way. Like, maybe if you're just like playing around with stuff, and you're tinkering, like you have your tinker practice and then you have your performance practice. Performance means like you're working on you, and this is the Adam I'm bringing to a tournament. Tinker practice is, I'm just trying this out, seeing how it feels. Just kind of going through the motions and, just collecting that feel data, without being overly cautious. So, yeah, so we got the pre-shot phase down. That's a really good focus. Just back, a couple seconds of pin float. Okay. And then just go through your shot, get down, back, do your thing, and then just focus on your movement. So, acquisition phase. What are the movements that you use to get to your anchor? So like draw down, and then back up to your anchor. Basically those three things.
Yeah, it's draw. I draw a little higher to set my arms, bring them down, back up in, and at the same time, I'm kind of at that moment, I'm loading my back. So I don't know if I'm doing that backwards or if I should bring it back, load it, then bring it in. I think, isn't that the way? Do you load it first and then bring it up? Like bring your scapula back or are you doing it all in one motion?
That's a great question. Different ways of looking at this. So when you draw the bow and you get to full draw and you start to come down, your back automatically shifts and cams over. That's your initial back setting. You can't come down. Like you cannot come down. Like you would have to do this. But if you drop everything, your back naturally is picking up. So that's the initial back. That's very automatic. Something I don't think about in the beginning, I had to think about it because I didn't know how to do it. And then eventually, it was weird, And then from there, just kept practicing that. So the first one, very automatic. When I get to full draw, then I come down. It just naturally cams over as I'm letting this elbow come down, which my hand follows, and then my hand will come back up. Back stays in the same spot. And then from here, when I am getting on the target, I will relax this stuff. And when you lengthen this, your back has to pick up the slack, and it automatically, because you're releasing tension, if your back wasn't engaged and you release this tension, you would creep. But how is it that you can release this tension and you don't creep? It's your back picking up the slack just a little bit. So I'm basically, my shoulder blade, it initially gets, pretty close to my spine. And then when I get on the target and I'm like, okay, I want to settle, I'm basically pulling my scapulas close together, but I'm not using tension to do that. I'm releasing tension. So my back finally checks in, and then that back scapular on this side, it'll real close to bottomed out. And I'll feel like this starting point. I'll feel like that's the spot. So draw down, get on this spot, settle, and then making sure that when you go to settle, your pin doesn't just drop out of the bottom. It does. Usually my draw length is too long, or at that draw length, the holding weight's too high, or I have too much weight on my bars, that sort of thing. So getting it to where I can be on the spot, fully settle, pin stays on the spot, and I still have good tension between my hands at that fully settled position. And then as far as the thumb, I'll get my thumb on, and then I'll have my thumb on and then settle, and then really commit to the thumb position staying the same. And then from here, take a pause and then start my execution. Now, that's for me. For you, could you walk me through your acquisition process before you would start the execution phase?
Yeah. So when I'm back and I come up and I do basically the same thing. I come up, get to anchor. It's funny because I don't pay attention to the pin. I put the pin on the target before I ever started. So it's right in the vicinity. So I can't, a lot of people will say I came down into the target, I came up or left or right. I'm kind of just in the target. So it's kind
for
of
indoor, right, I do that. Yes. For 3D, for 3D, it depends. But yeah, for indoor, I'm usually drawing back, and the pin's going to be in the yellow, and then come up, and it's like,
you're right.
I'm in the 9, and then you just quickly put it in.
But I may leap a little bit, like when I'm back and I get my first, and I get that acquisition of the target, and I put it on there. And as I'm kind of doing it as I'm going through, so I kind of put my pin on, make sure that my pressures are right. But it's not until I actually go, I relax this wrist, and I make sure that once that wrist is where it's supposed to be, and I'm tight, not completely tight, but tight back here and tight forward, about 50-50. That's to the point where I can say in my head, okay, we can go.
Perfect. So making sure you do not half-ass that is very important. That is an extremely crucial step. Most people, if they mess up at Vegas or at a tournament, people would think it's not they would think it's an execution problem. It's usually they weren't fully in their back, or something didn't have the right tension alignment in the first place. And then mentally they're like, it's good enough. And then they commit to something that's not good enough. So the challenge there is, okay, you either change what you're doing, so you do that every time, or you change your bow. So let's just say you're really scrunched up and your back isn't consistent. Maybe a slightly longer loop or slightly longer draw length, so it actually drops in the same spot without you having to think about it. So there's a balance between okay, should I change my thought process or should I change the bow and keep my thought process the same on something like that? But yeah. So acquisition phase, good stuff. As far as execution, what is your bucket of focuses that you allow yourself to focus on? And then how do you actually do it most of the time right now?
I do look at the pin a little bit, but primarily once I have my pin on the target and I've got it floating to where I think is what it should be, acceptable, in the middle, I quit looking at it for the most part. But I do kind of keep it in the picture. Like it's kind of like I overlap two things, and I have them sitting
totally
there
agree with that.
going like this, you know?
Yeah, you don't want
they're together.
So I watching the picture. Yeah.
Right. And I can't completely ignore the fact, you know, where my pin is, because that's where I have the opportunity if it falls apart to let down and not make a bad shot. I can always come back and reset and pull it back and do the right thing, as opposed to like
pin is just inside the 10.
Right. My pin mostly floats inside the 10. It stays in the 10.
You can see the whole 10 line most of the time.
I think so. I mean, I think so. It's hard for me to tell because I can't really see it. My eyesight's not. Yeah, it's not something that I can see. I did change my pin size or my dot size. So, and I probably need to go smaller on that. I mean, I'm talking to people that are using 15,000 pins right now, you know, blue dot or blue pins, you know, that are, you know, I mean, Braden Reed, who you shot, you know, your 900 with in Vegas. You know, I'm really good friends with him and his family. And I've asked him that a few times, and that's what he shot. He goes, I'm actually thinking about going smaller. I think that sounds terrible. So, because that's what I shot with in Vegas was a 10,000s, and it was not easy, and it really left, you know, that and the fact I had no back tension at all at Vegas because I didn't shoot with any shoulder blade being back. Those two things
really. What you must do is try everything and figure out why you don't like the extremes, and then just narrow the fence posts down.
Yeah.
So you do need to try the extremes though, because you might like them. So
I need to go smaller, like you said, just like going with a smaller peep size.
Yeah. When I just so you know, for me, my hold, I can get a 7 power to hold inside the 10 ring. It took a lot of practice to do that, and it's not perfect. I have a fair amount of movement in my sight picture with the 7 power. I'm very impressed that I can even shoot a 7 power now. Like I hold a 7 power still as I used to hold a 6 power. I remember days where I would put my 4 power in because I'd put the 6 in for the first time, like on an indoor game. Like, dude, I'm like over aiming. Like I can't execute my shot. So yeah, so now I'm running the second smallest specialty dot on a 7 power lens. So it's the size of the X. And it's half the size of the 10. It's black.
How do you see? I don't understand how you see a black without lighting it up or being able to
see it.
I have to light up my dot.
Really small peep. I'm running either the smallest or the second smallest peep.
Yeah, I haven't tried a regular black one because it looks like
your size peep. Are you running?
It looks like a shade, you know, in there. It doesn't.
Are you running a 16th peep?
Peep? No, the second to the smallest is where you had me go.
Okay. Well, if you went smaller, depending on the situation.
But I haven't tried one. I haven't tried a black dot. I mean, I was at the second largest peep when I tried that. At Vegas and everything else I've ever shot. You moved me down to the second smallest.
Yeah. So for me personally, at Vegas, what I will probably run this year and what I think I ran last year is a drilled aperture that is between the smallest one and the second smallest one. It's like a 1.5 size. Oh no, between the aperture sizes.
Yeah, but is it black? Oh, yeah, the aperture sizes. Gotcha. And then are you running a black pin?
I'm running a black dot, the second smallest, in a specialty kit.
And you can't see through that.
Small as a gun star.
You can't see through it.
Dot's clear, man.
It's black. Like you can't.
It's black, yeah. Like it's probably. I also go down on the clarifier a tick. I think I'll have to test with my vision now and see. But I usually have it to where I know the dot is slightly more clear than the target. As long as I can faintly see the 10 line, I'm happy.
But when I say clear, I mean I can literally see through the dot.
Yeah, your clarifier is too high or your peep is too high.
It's so bad. It was so bad.
Your peep was too big. Your peep was way too big.
Yeah, I got
your peep was too big and your clarifier was too big. The biggest thing that's going to help is believe it or not, the peep. Making the peep smaller and keeping the clarifier the same will always make the dot more clear. Like insanely clear. So it just makes the whole picture darker as well. So
all right. I'm going to try and see. And I'll go smaller because I did switch to that 7 power.
You're running a 7? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I had
slowly
the same
working
issue.
down.
I had the same problem that I got up there and I'm like, that's a lot of movement. And now I've got to the point where I set the bow up so well to where even me being old, it still pretty much holds in the middle.
You're not old. You need to get that
scared.
out of your self-image. 100%. Seriously. You're young.
I know.
Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? How old are you?
Like 51.
You're 51.
Yeah.
You're pulling all-nighters in an ER hospital. That's a lot of stress. There's no one that deals with that on a daily basis. Like, use that in your toolbox. 100%. I'm telling you. Like, lean into that. So, but yeah.
I do more than I say. I do lean into it.
I'm sure
I do feel young. And the weight loss has helped. So it's been good.
Yeah.
I feel tons better.
Yeah. I've lost a little weight, not really intentionally. Lost a lot of strength. I went into the gym the other day and oh my goodness, dude, I was like, wow, I can sustain really good on the first set of like a press or something. And then it's like the second set, I'm like, oh, this is pretty bad.
Fell apart.
60-pound dumbbells. I'm like, okay, I'm doing good. I did 10 or 12 and then it's like a 5. And I'm like, and I go down 5 pounds.
Yeah. It's kind of like that sometimes, but you're doing different training. You got to think of what percentage of the world are doing what you're doing. It's a lot.
I love it. It's so cool. Like
it is so fun.
It sucked today, but I biked 40 miles 2 days in a row and I thought I would be okay after taking kind of a break from some of the training. And it kind of kicked me in the butt. My bike fits. I got to get my bike fit a little bit better. I need to get one of those fitting apps where you like scan your body and look at the angles and stuff. But even then, just like with archery, it's a recommendation, but you also have to feel what the camera is trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So you got to feel the muscle groups. But anyway, so with execution, so your pin, you drop it in there, it's inside the 10. You want it to basically float inside the 10 the whole time while you're executing, and then feel that it's going to be inside the 10. If your dot is inside the 10 when the shot breaks, it's going to be an X. If it's liner, if it's like barely out of the 10 with a 7, it might cap to the X. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. So with your release technique, this is a very complex issue. So what are you focusing on and kind of feeling? And then how much are you focusing on that movement? Like how present are you in that movement versus passive? Are you more passive than it?
That's a good question. So
it's a great question, and you need to experiment with both.
As I've gone through it and I put my pin on the target, I could easily go to a start-stop kind of a thing because my pin flowed if I really paid attention to it. And I thought, well, it's kind of, going out of the bottom a little bit, or it's not exactly where I want it to go. I try not to pay attention to it once I've got it there. But what's interesting is once I have it there, if I have a shot that breaks well right in the middle, it's typically because I've done exactly like you said. I'll go through, I'll have it there. I'll have that little break in my wrist, but it's almost like I'm swiping, if that makes sense. I'm kind of going through like this. It's like I'm swiping my cheek, and it's a weird thing to think about, because I think about what makes this thing go off, what makes me fire this thing, and it's me breaking a little more in my wrist as I go. I'm not keeping it stiff while it's here. I'm actually going pull, and as I'm doing that, I'm getting a little more break in my. I can feel that, and if that's clean and my eyes are on that target, that thing. I mean, you could almost bet it's inside out. There's a few times that I'll know if it hit, where it goes. I don't even have to look at the target very much anymore to know where the arrow hit. I mean, it's so automatic that you just dip low and you know where it is. You don't have to look at it. You know that you hit on the left side of the 10, may have caught the line on an X, or the right side, or if you shot it a little bit high, which typically is not my thing, but definitely in that area on the bottom, the bottom of the X. So I tend to favor it and add a couple extra clicks to kind of stay a little higher to make up for, me. But the whole thing is that movement. But I don't, that's the problem that I have. I don't always do it that way. That's the problem. I get caught up in what I'm doing with everything else. Is my grip right? Is my hand right? Do I have a little bend in my arm? Is everything right here? That I don't think about that wrist, it going through. It kind of just automatically does it subconsciously, and I don't want it to do it that way. Those aren't my best shots. Subconscious shots aren't necessarily my best shots. My best shots are one where I stayed in it and my eyes were on the target. My pin I know is staying in there because I set my bow up for that pin to stay there, and I want that to come back. I want to swipe it through. As I come through, that's what fires my release. I put my thumb on there. I don't even know how I put my dang thumb on the trigger. I know it goes outside somewhere, kind of like I've seen Bodie do it, where he comes on the outside of it a little bit.
Oh yes,
where he's way out here.
Yeah, on that little trainer thing. Yeah,
right. So yeah, I found myself doing the same thing. And having my pinky.
There's a lot of guys
where's my So and having my pinky on that whale tail a little bit, but. Yeah, that's what I think about. So that's what I need to get better. I need to stay, like you said, present in that, knowing that if I'm doing that, it's going to you need to do it 30 times. You need to do it 30 more times, and you need to do it 30 more times. You can't, you can't just every once in a while get too relaxed in the shot and say, hey, this one's going to happen because I'm holding the bow here, and I've done it a million other times.
That's a great point. And this is something I'm working on. I'm not perfect at it, obviously. If I was perfect at it, close to it, I would have won Vegas by now. I would have shot probably 89 X's. I would love to. But yeah, so the thing though that I found is you're right to say that. Like, the trick is you do have to be present enough to know that you're still in the shot. And if you're too passive, sometimes we have little mental lapses of focus, because this is a precision game. Sometimes if you're not precisionally thinking about what's going on, then you're going to mess up. But there's a balance between thinking too much about the wrong things, not enough on the right things. For you, thinking about just simply observing what your technique is naturally, and then writing that down, and then potentially augmenting it. Like, how much are you pulling versus relaxing? Like looking at each individual digit, looking at your wrist, what your wrist's doing, your back, just the feeling this way, feeling in your arm, anchor, shot timing. Just look at all the variables. I would naturally just observe what you're currently doing. And then if you do make a change, just know before you pick up the bow, I'm going to shoot it this way. And then try it. So like, for me, I found personally, I do not shoot my best when I get here and it feels like to get the shot to break, I have to pull it. I do not break my shots.
I don't either. Yeah, mine is more like it's got to be a flow.
Yeah. When my hands get to acquiring the target, and I know that these knuckles will stay in the same spot right when the shot, you see, I'm not pulling my hand off my face. If my hand stays in the exact same spot on my anchor, I know all I'm going to do is leak tension and then keep this good. And then my back's just going to pick up the slack from the tension. I'm going to shoot way better.
So that's what's happening with me. I think that's kind of what's happening here, though, is it's staying there, I think it's releasing here. It's staying there. It's releasing, but when it does, it's kind of like my wrist is it's starting to bend as I'm doing it here, just a little teeny bit. So I know that
so the wrist bends, it's very small. Thumb comes back.
It's very small. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your trigger is sensitive enough to where it breaks the shot. So I would experiment with focusing on index to wrist ratio. If you want to use your thumb, if you want to think about how tight these are, how loose they are. With the forefinger, something that I'm playing with now is thinking about the pinky kind of staying locked and slowly expanding through my back, and then that whole thing kind of breaking. So
it does work. I've actually done that one too.
Yeah. The trick though is making sure that the pinky isn't driving the anchor of the release. It's like a 3-finger and the pinky's just on for the ride. That's what I like best at the starting point. Yeah. I used to, when I first got a thumb button, I used to grab it and I would like wrench the whole thing, dude. And I'm like, what am I doing? So anyway, okay, so that's good. As far as the front arm with your form, well, let's go back. So stance openness. How are you liking your stance openness right now with the way you've been shooting? Is it pretty natural or just something off?
No, it's pretty natural. It feels a little off right now because I just changed everything. So that's how I'm noticing that the draw length isn't quite right. So I'm still messing with that. I was messing with it earlier today, but it's still just a little bit off. I've got to go back and micro adjust it like you and I had before, and I'll get it back there again.
Yeah, just blank bail it to start. It would be your 80-20. Just get really close on a big bail. Get your stance openness where you want it. Draw back. And you can experiment different draw lengths. Shorter draw and then the longer draw. Which shoulder alignment you're really liking the best. So, something to do there. Front arm right now feels pretty good. Front shoulder.
It does.
This whole unit.
I got a little bend in it. I have a break. I don't have a bend, but I have a break in my arm. Right. So it's not. Yep. So it's just broken. I can't push it all the way out, and I can't bring it all the way in, but I've just got to break. Yeah, soft elbow. Just what feels perfect. Yep. Just a soft elbow. Yep.
Yeah. So grip and position this way is good.
Grip position runs more like that right now, where I'm running it through here and into right there on my hand.
Does it cross a little bit right here?
Yeah, it kind of runs up through like this.
Does it go on this side of your palm?
This side, no. No, it stays all over here. Just like this. Right through here. So I'm a little bit closer with this. This finger's a little closer to the riser than I was running it. But I'm getting more support with my wrist, the way my wrist angle needs to be to allow proper draw length too, and to get my wrist back some.
Have you played with the putty thing?
Got it right over here and get ready to do it. So that's why I was getting it all set up. So I'm going to put it, I've got to put it on my thumb side for sure and get it up in there. And then obviously get a spot where I want to put my finger.
Maybe just a tiny bit on this side too, so it feels congruent.
Yeah.
Mentally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've done
Makes
that.
Sense.
Yeah. My grip now, it's getting bad. I don't have a picture of it, but it looks like a bare bow grip. It looks like a Jaeger bare bow grip. Yeah, you know how on bare bow, like it'll have like this little like triangle corner that kind of comes out on the left side. Yeah, a really small flange that comes out that like seats into that lifeline.
Yeah,
and it is nice. Like I found like when I put my hand in the grip and then I tell myself, okay, put tension in there. Okay, now just relax your wrist all the way. My hand will want to roll off the whole riser. So that little bit of flange, when I do that, it stays on it.
Exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I moved over to more towards the center, not over the lifeline, but again, right next to it, because if I'm out here at all, it wants to roll off. Yeah. But yeah.
I'll send you a picture of it. You might try it later in the process. With the process, it start with the thumb, then the shell, then the angle, and if you want to add a left side putty. You just don't want to, like I tested this. I made a really big one, and I think it torques the bow a little bit too much shot to shot. Like the torque tuning was pretty bad. Like it was really opening up that torque window. But boy. To the point where it's like it's there, but it's not inducing a ton of left torque or right torque. You should be fine. At least outside. Indoors probably won't notice the difference. But with skinny arrows at 60 yards, it'll make a difference. Big time.
Yeah, bet.
So cool. So front half is good. Anchor position on your face and the back half feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's getting there. The back half does feel tons better. I mean, with the stuff we have done is not even close to what I've done forever in my life. So the stuff that I'm doing now back here feels good. I've just got to get it on the front side and make sure that that's hitting. I think it's probably the difference in people's faces. I can't compare myself with, Pinhead or some other people that have these little tiny faces. I'm a little longer from here to here. It's a little different.
You are. Holy cow.
Yeah, so it's a little bit longer.
Oh man, turn side profiles. Like.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a pinhead. So I was actually Steven and I were talking about that because he was asking. I'm like, just shoot what feels comfortable and don't shoot your arm straight out. And I go, we don't have the same faces as everybody else. It's not going to be exactly the same. So anyway, so yeah, no, that feels good.
What are your actual anchor points on your face with your hand right now? Is it just the V?
It is. Yeah. So I am coming up from underneath. So I am back and then I am tucking my knuckles basically underneath there with the V. And this finger now is underneath my jaw.
Awesome.
Back here. And so I don't have it all the way behind the angle of my jaw. I don't know if you've got that back there on the back.
Way back here.
The angle on the tip. But are your knuckles on the angle of that jaw?
These big ones?
Right here. Yeah, right in the angle.
These hang off the back sometimes.
Yeah.
They definitely hang off the back.
But these fingers are where they need to be. So
these will always be either the pad or the tip. Always be on my face. But these, depending on my loop length and draw length, it'll either be right in that corner or just behind it.
And I think it gives you a good
button. It's way back here, though.
I think it gives you a good resting point back there off the back, though.
I have these big ones right there.
Yeah, I have in your knuckles.
Yeah, so you can check in with that wrist. Back there.
Yeah, because I can bring it in, and I know if I've got my knuckles on that angle, that these fingers are already split on my jaw. Exactly. Not that much, but split like we talked about, where it's nestled up underneath. Mm-hmm. But it's more repeatable. It's more repeatable, 100%. And I'm able to bring it up into my face like we talked about. And I've been trying to intentionally do it a little bit more to really seed it in, so that I don't have to think about it down the road.
One thing I would like to add. So when you get to full draw and you put the pin in the middle, with your anchor, you can relax your wrists and your knuckles on your face will stay in the same spot. So you can relax everything. So draw back and dump everything and relax. Thumb on the trigger. Okay. And then from here, you can keep relaxing it a little bit against your jawline. The peep should stay relatively the same. It might move up some depending on if you're shooting the hinge. But right there, that little bit of this while letting your hand flatten on your anchor, poof, it's not just going to break. So think about that wrist during execution too. Like leave a little bit of room there when you go to grab the barrel so you can relax it back out.
Right.
If it's fully relaxed,
I had to move it for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually moved it because of that, because it was too far forward for me to be able to do it with a little bend.
Yeah, you were having to go like that.
Yeah, and then you're coming back. Then you're taking yourself out of what you originally were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, your back is just
right. You can't bring it back and then come back up again. It doesn't work that way, and it also breaks your shot down. I noticed.
Exactly. So we just ran through pre-shot acquisition, execution phases, and then the 3 spots of form. As far as execution, your dots in the middle. Can you briefly describe, what areas of your form are you looking at most of the time? To get the release to fire.
To get it to fire, my back. Yeah. My back's got to be engaged, and my hand has to be bent. If I don't do it that way, it won't be fluid. It's forced. Right. Back and wrist. I know my front arm's doing what it should be doing, but I have had some shoulder creep at times that still comes into play, and I've struggled with that over the years just because I get too relaxed. So I have to make sure when I start that shoulder is there, and then I try not to think about it. But if I feel it creep at all, and I watch my pin because I know that it's happening with my pin or that the shot won't go off, I just let down because I know that it's off. So
something that we will work on.
Yeah, it's better if I think about it when I start, like bringing my arm up as I go with that little bend in my arm, and then I can relax my bow arm once it's up.
So before you draw it,
I just kind of keep. Yeah, I don't try to bring it up like this and then bring it down up here because it likes to come back again. Yeah, I start down. Start that way. If I can start down here and bring it up, it typically doesn't come back up again. It can if I'm open too much, if I'm closed and I go like this, you can't hold it then. So
no.
It'll also tell you if you're standing correctly. So anyway, that's what I think about. I think about, my hand has to be bent, and that thing, my shoulder better be back. And if it's not firing, I got to let it go. Yeah, you were right.
What's that?
Dang it. My dot's completely black now. So
yeah,
it was translucent before. I couldn't even see the dot before. Like it wasn't, I could see that there was a black haze in the center of my glass, but now there's a black. I turned my light off.
Yeah, black is nice. I mean, there's a balance. But if you have a hole in the target,
it's too big.
Experiment with it. Hey, there's lightning behind me. That's cool.
That peep is too big or too twisted.
Yeah, so that's going to affect the size too. It's going to look smaller, and then when the peep is perfect, your dot's not going to be as clear.
Right. So I can see it perfect. So yeah.
So anyway. The dot, is it bigger than the 10?
Yeah. Yep.
I would swap it out and initially
I'm going to
test your findings. Yeah. And as you're doing that, anytime you make the sight picture more critical, it's going to give you new information. And it will be very easy for you to try to change yourself to that. You just have to let the dot be and then let the dot kind of tell you what your hold is doing. Try to repeat what you feel while you're changing the dot is what I'm saying. Instead of chasing.
Yeah.
Let me add a little bit of pressure in here. You know what I mean? So I call it bailing out of the shot process. It's like you acquire the target and then it's not a good holding setup. It's like it wants to stay out of the 10 or out of the X. And then it's like, okay, I want to bail out and really try. You don't want to have a setup where you have to try so hard, But anyway.
No.
So
how far out too do you run your sight bar? How far out do you run it for indoor?
On the fourth notch.
Okay.
From the back. So if you count
fourth from the back.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Yeah, I've done some testing with that. Last indoor season, I ran mine on the second or third. And when I shot my Reading style setup and 3D stuff, I found that with torque in the bow and with the sight picture float, having it in a little bit more was very forgiving. The sight picture is not nearly as dancy because the lever arm is so close to you.
Right. Yeah. And you get more magnification as it goes farther out from the bow, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do. And then you lose a little bit of clarity with the sights. Yeah. So you just got to play with it and see.
Yeah, I haven't really played with it. I've always put it on that one spot since I got a bow finger and haven't really moved it. I've torque tuned it. Torque tune's fine, so I just kind of leave it alone. But it's only
something that you would play with later on. Well, something you would play with, yeah.
Yeah. It's what, 5? I mean, it's 3 from, it's like right there. 1, 2, 3 from the front. So it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's probably in more than what I would run, but
right. I haven't tried it, so I'll try it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just play with it and see. Ideally, with my sight picture indoors, with any game, I want the scope to feel the peep on the edges. So when the alignment is off, I can tell and quickly adjust.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a giant haze around it, you're going to sit inside of the peep several different ways and you're going to miss axes. So like running it in like you have it helps a ton.
Yeah. Unless with 3D, it's like that when it gets dark. Your scope becomes scopes get so big inside your peep because it's so dark that you can't tell where you are.
For 3D, my strategy that I use is I make my peep so small to where on the bags it cuts my scope off, but in the woods it's perfect.
Yeah, I need to go with that. When we fix my 3D bow, we need to make sure we do that.
Yeah,
because I know I screwed that up last year a lot, and for years actually. Because I've always ran almost the biggest peep, man. Every time
everyone does. Gillingham does it too, and I'm like, dude, if Gillingham made his peep half as small, he would shoot over 30 up on a course each year.
I think doesn't he also run a bigger scope too, though?
Well, no, he runs a 40 millimeter Nomad, which is the size of a Bowfinger 35, but he runs it like really rammed in. So I guess it appears to be bigger.
Right.
But his draw length though, with how his peep to side distance, I think he said it was like 31. So mine's 31, so I would say probably is a really nice sight picture. I bet with his sight picture, he can tell when his scope is off.
Oh yeah.
With how close it is. Like there's no haze around the scope probably.
No.
So
I'm sure.
It makes sense. Yeah. Interesting. I've tried running my scope that far in with the Hamsky overdraw one time and I could not torch in it. No. I would have to run my scope inside my sight window or flip it backwards. Get that short of a arrow with that big of an overdraw to torch in my draw lines. So anyway, let me see you shoot a couple arrows.
I don't have a couple anymore, but I've got a couple there. Can you see me well enough, you think? I'm just going to grab a couple random arrows. I'm going to move.
What time are you coming back up to Murray?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet. It sure is pretty up there, man. I got to tell you, that was fast going there and coming back, though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I want to spend some more time up there. I told James we need to stop in and see you next time we go up. Plan for a day.
30 minutes. Murray. Huge improvements. Oops. Huge improvements. I'm really liking what I see. How do you feel about everything? Does it feel good, or is there something kind of bugging you?
My draw length's bugging me at this very moment, but I'm okay with it because I know what I need to do to fix it.
Does it feel long or short?
It's too short.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I still find myself reaching for, bringing my head just a little forward, and I wasn't doing that before I switched over to all this stuff.
It's so hard to, because most of the time what I found, Adam, is if you get the draw length perfect, it doesn't hold good. But if you make it too short, you can always figure out how to make it hold good. So it's so hard to keep the hold. It's weird because as you're moving your draw length, the linear tension that you put in the bow does not stay the same. It's diagonal from the grip. So that tension line is changing. So your knock height probably needs to change. The draw stop pressures are changing with the draw length. They're not the same. You're not putting the same tension in the grip, so yeah, slowly backing that out. I would do it in, string and cable increments. You can start with the string, 3 untwists. If your peep opening is healthy, unless you want to do a 1/4 inch on the mod.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that too. I could try a 1/4 inch and see if it doesn't.
The
twist in the cable.
Have you tried it? 1/4 inch longer than this. Have you tried it before?
Because I went down. So where I am right now is a 1/2 inch shorter than what my finished product was after I got everything tuned and everything was hitting appropriately. That I had the cam timing down right. Went back and did it. It was 29, almost 29 inches again, like 28 7/8, like where we originally had started with this whole thing. And so I came back, and that's where I've been working down since then. So I think I overshot it quite a bit, and because of the twists that I had to put in the cables to fix the cam timing now, I think it even shortened it more. So I haven't gone back to even measure it to see kind of where it is. So that's why I said I just haven't had time to do it today is all. So, but I'll do it tomorrow because I'm off. But what?
The process.
I think that's what I need to do.
Yeah. I would combine a little bit of just feel on blank bell, really close, just to get an 80-20.
But you're right. It doesn't take much.
Groups with it.
It doesn't take much to throw me off. I mean, I'm literally, if I change my D loop length, it makes it too loose from being 100% too short, which is so odd. I mean, they hit well. I mean, it's crazy.
How are your games right now?
I was able to shoot one today. I shot a 28 with 20. I knew what my 2 were that dropped. As far as I'm actually starting to figure out what's causing me to not hit X's, not just 10s. So if before, and like I told you before, it was more of a issue of me I was using that giant dot too before. And I think this one's too big. I can't, I'm covered up. Just looking at it now, I'm covering up more than the 10 down there.
Yeah,
I'm into the 11. Yeah.
Yeah. Go down just one size. Not just because you don't want to go down too fast or make any adjustment too fast, because you have current muscle memory and mental memory of the way things are. So you want to pick up on the differences pretty quickly. So yeah, I think that's good. I'm really impressed. I think, just slowly bumping the draw out and doing it in a systematic, I'm taking notes. This is what this one feels like in a spreadsheet or something. This setting, okay, next column down, okay, +2 twists in the cables, +2 more twists in the cables. Oh, that's too long. Okay, -1 twist. That's okay. -1/2 twist. Oh, too much. 1 twist. Okay, +1/2 twist. That sort of thing. And then string does a lot more than the cables.
Right.
So ±3 twists. Huge.
Yeah.
I think that's an 1/8 inch.
Yeah, I've tried not to mess with the stinking string at all because I have noticed that it'll throw it way off, just enough to get the Peep aligned. So the Peep's pretty close. I still get a little bit in there, but I think things are still stretching because I just put them on like a day and a half ago. Yeah. So I think it's there. And then I know I got to get off here in just a second, but when you tested the stuff with the stabilizers and using this front mount that's right here.
Yes. I got to try the configuration again. Like,
are you still doing it?
About yesterday.
I've gone to it since, I think, was it you spoke to, who was it? Was it Hoke that you had a conversation with at one point, or I can't remember.
Hoke runs his off the front.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Anyway, what I've thought about, I've got the mounts to be able to mount the others. Maybe one out straight from the front, and then run one out from the bottom. Like they have 2 holes in the bottom of this Victra. Yeah. I mean, maybe just trying it and seeing if it works a little better. I haven't put the SOS on there at all yet.
That's fair.
So I just said, I'll keep messing with the grip. I'll try some new stuff with that, and then I'll mess with those arrows like we talked about to see what groups the best, I guess, and work on actually getting a little bit of a high left hair and see how it works.
Perfect. I would try those mounting configurations. There's no perfect mounting configuration. That's the problem. Here's a give and take with both. If you run it off the front, the bow inherently is more forgiving on a mistake shot. Like if you do a really bad mistake, the bow, it's like it has a 2x multiplier on how stable it is at the same stabilizer weight. It's like because the bars are connected to the same point, it's like it doesn't want to move. Okay, but the problem is the leverage in the bow off the front, it's kind of fighting gravity. So you kind of have to set up your entire bow around that mishap in the bow.
Right.
Whereas people that just throw it on the back, it usually has a pretty good feeling float and sight picture. But the problem they're going to inevitably run into is when they get those kiss out shots. It's like, how to explain it? Like the bow is the bars are inherently fighting each other because they're not connected to each other. So that's where you got to really play the weight ratio on that setup. So they're both really good.
So you're not getting a clean release is not as easy. Is that what you're saying? Like it's not being shot cleanly?
Yeah, you can heal the bow a lot more where the bar is off the back, and it like make a huge difference. But like if you put it on the front, it's very forgiving. Now, I do need to understand this. Every bow is different, and I had to run my bar off the front on that bow. I had to. It was so torquey. That was one of the ways I could get the torque window to calm down, was running it off the front. So I might try it on my title. I haven't spent enough time figuring out the setup because you have to completely move your knock height and your grip angle to match the pulling pressure with wherever that leverage is in the bow. It's a completely different bow when you do it. You cannot have the exact same weight ratio. It all changes. But yeah, wow. I mean, Bodie shot it at Vegas to shoot his 89X. Kyle Douglas runs it off the front. I've shot, second at Foley last year with a 20-inch stabilizer off the front. What is that tournament? The Indiana trail shoot. I got second up there, 5 down for the weekend, running it off the front. I do like it off the front. I got to go home and try it. It takes so much time to test these things out, and you have to do it in a slow manner. If you test things out too fast without really figuring it out, you'll never really get enough data to know. Sometimes. Right. Yeah. Anyway.
How many times can you let down at Vegas? Is there a number of times that there isn't like the 3D rule where you can let down twice, have to shoot it on the third shot?
They do have a shot clock of 2 minutes. That's all I know.
There's it, right? Right. Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Shoot your 3 arrows in 2 minutes.
It came up today and I'm like, I don't know. I never got to that point. My brother was asking me about it. I don't want to let down that much. You run out of time.
I would preferably have 30 seconds left on the clock when I'm done, preferably. with my process. I'm in rhythm and just kind of repeating the same thing. And yep, that's good. Yep, that's good. Yep, that's good. And then cool.
Yep.
Put the bow up. Do that 30 times or 10 times and see a good game. So, but yeah, I'll let you hop off here. If you have any questions throughout the week, let me know. I'm going to be a little bit more responsive this week. I'm going to text you pretty much every day just to follow up. If that's cool with you.
Yeah, perfect. I'm going to be home. I'll be home tomorrow afternoon. I have dental surgery on Thursday, but every day I should be home, before 6, before 4 most of the days. So should be fine. And then
6 a.m. or 6 p.m.
6 p.m. on every day but tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be home tomorrow. So because I work tonight. So all right, cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, Ace. I appreciate you. I'll have more questions.
No problem, man.
All right, man. Going home. Be careful in your training. All right.
Will do.
Talk to you later.
All right, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye.